Hi everybody, so today we're going to be learning about telling the time on an analog clock. So an analog clock is one like this. Oops, let me get it the right way around for you. Or a digital clock, which is one that lots of you have on your watches. Okay, so just to begin with, I want you to make sure you've got something to write with. Can you go and find a paper or a pen or a biro, or just something you've got at home? Some of you might have a whiteboard at home actually, and if you haven't got any of those things, you might have a cereal box and you can turn it inside out and write on the cardboard. Well done, it's nice to see you back, well done. So I want you to have a go first at these, okay? What time is it? Could you write the time down for this one here? And when you can pause me if you need to. So let's see what time this is. So you can see that the hour hand has gone past the 12. So it's past 12 o'clock. And you can see that the minute hand has travelled 10 minutes past. So it's 10 minutes past 12. Let's look at the next one. Have a go at this one now. Pause if you need to. You can see that the hour hand has gone past the 10 o'clock. And the minute hand has gone 5, 10, 15 minutes past the 10. So it's 10:15. Now have a look at the next one. You can see that the hour hand has gone past the 11 o'clock. And it's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 minutes past 11. Okay, I am wondering if you know how to write those down. So when we write time, we can write it in lots and lots of different ways. We could write 10 past 12. We could write it like that, okay? Or we could write 12, 10. Okay, that's how we would write it if it was a digital time, okay? Or we could write down, let's have a look, that's 10:15. We could write 10:15, like this one here, okay? Now, of course, we know that there's digital time and there's analog time. And we know, don't we, that we have a 24-hour clock. So I'm just going to go through my 24-hour clock. So I'm going to stop my share, so I should be nice and big and you should be able to see my clock. I'm hoping you can see my clock. Is that okay, everybody? I am actually stuck in the DT cupboard at the moment, so I hope you can see that all right. It's funny, us teachers, isn't it, where we teach. Okay, so let's just start off with when I am hoping that you lot are in bed. Okay, we're going to start with 8 o'clock at night. I think by 8 o'clock at night, you're probably in bed, you're probably going to sleep, aren't you? Okay, so let's look at that. And now we know, don't we, that that isn't necessarily just, there's two 8 o'clocks, isn't there? Because there's 8 o'clock in the morning and there's 8 o'clock in the evening. And this is why. And you see, that's because time, when we think about clocks, and I've got a very, very sweet clock, we can think about time as midnight. Can you see that? That's when the two hands are pointing at the 12, and then we can say this is 1 o'clock in the morning. Okay, can you see? At 1 o'clock in the morning would be 1 o'clock. All right, and then we get to 2 o'clock in the morning. Now 2 o'clock in the morning is 2 o'clock, and it's when we are fast asleep in our beds. Then we've got 3 o'clock in the morning, which is when we're fast asleep. 4 o'clock in the morning when we're fast asleep. 5 o'clock in the morning when I hope you're still asleep. 6 o'clock in the morning when you're definitely going to still be asleep next week, aren't you? Okay. And then we've got 7 o'clock in the morning when we get up. Okay. 8 o'clock in the morning when we've got to get to school. We've got 9 o'clock in the morning when we're at school. 10 o'clock in the morning. 11 o'clock in the morning when we're thinking, hooray, 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 it's playtime. Then we get to 12 o'clock and then we get to, now, hold on a minute. Now we get to 12:30 when it's lunchtime. And then look, hold on a minute. We get to 1 o'clock again. And 1 o'clock lunchtime is 13 hours. Then we've got 2 o'clock in the afternoon, which is 14 hours. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, which is 15 hours. 4 o'clock in the afternoon, which is 16 hours. So these are digital times. 5 o'clock in the afternoon, which is 17 hours. 6 o'clock, which is kind of tea time, isn't it? 18 hours. 7 o'clock in the evening, which is 19 hours. 8 o'clock in the evening, which is 20 hours. 9 o'clock in the evening, which is 21 hours. 10 o'clock in the evening, which is 22 hours. 11 o'clock in the evening, which is 23 hours. And then we get all the way back to midnight. Okay, well done, everybody. So I'm just going to share my screen again now. And you should be able to see my PowerPoint. I want you now with your whiteboard and pen, pause me if you need to To see if you can, and I think these times are exactly the same, write them down in morning and afternoon time on a digital clock. Can you do that for me? Pause and have a go. Okay, now I want you, and my class always point to the words like this, they point to them as they're reading. I want you to point to those words. I want you to say, look at this one here, and I want you to say the minute hand has travelled how many minutes past? So it's travelled 5, 10 minutes since 12 o'clock. So it is 10 past 12. Now look at the next one. Okay, say it with me. The minute hand has travelled 5, 10, 15 minutes past 10 o'clock. So it is 15 minutes past 10. Now look at the next one. The minute hand has travelled 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 minutes since 11 o'clock. So it is 25 minutes past 11. Look at this one. The hour hand has passed the 12, so the first number is 12. The minute hand has moved 10 minutes, so it ends in 10. Look at the next one. The hour hand has passed the 10, so the first number is 10. The minute hand has moved 15 minutes, so it ends in 15. And here, the hour hand has passed the 11, so the first number is 11, and the minute hand has moved 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 minutes, so it ends in 25. Now I'd like you to have a look at these times. Can you tell these times for me? Pause if you want to, and then come back to me. Okay, how could we say these times? Right, these times, when it's this side of the clock, we say it's minutes past, but when it's this side of the clock, we say it's minutes to. So we can say this is 5, 10 minutes to 2 o'clock. Look at this one. The hour hand is on the number 9 and the minute hand is on the 12. So we know it has to be an o'clock. So it's 9 o'clock. Look at this one. The minute hand has gone all the way round, okay? It's 5 minutes to 12 o'clock. Look at this one. See if you can say those now. Say them to a teddy for me. Pause me if you need to, okay? Well done, everybody. I'm not going to say that one with you because I think you'll get a little bit bored of you. But let's look at this bit. Look at these clocks. Can you put them in order? And if I show you from the current slide, I'm going to show you this. Oh, sorry, everybody. I'm going to go to previous. It says, can you put them in order? So, of course, I don't really like this slide very much. I think it's a bit tricky because can you see how the hands look like they're the same length? I'm sorry about that. So this one here is meant to say 4 o'clock. This one is meant to say 12 midday, and this is meant to say 10 o'clock. So I suppose if it was 4 in the, I don't know, should we say 4 in the early morning when we're asleep? And then we could say it's 12 at lunchtime, and then we could say it's 10 o'clock at night. But could they go in a different order? Let's have a think. Okay, now we're going to have a look at this one. So this goes AM to PM, and I've already talked to you about this on a whole big analog clock, and this is on a long line. So 12 AM is midnight. It's when we are fast asleep, okay? And then we get 1 AM, 2 AM, 3 AM, 4 AM, 5 AM, 6 AM, and 7 AM when we're properly up, okay? Then we get our day at school, we get to 3 PM in the afternoon, and then we get our evening times, all right? So our morning times are AM, and they start when we're asleep, and our PM times start at lunch times, which is the afternoon. So AM is used for midnight and times after up until midday or noon, and PM is used for midday or noon and times after up until midnight. Okay, task 1. Now, you need to choose your tasks. So there are 3 different tasks. There are easiest, middly, and harder, and you can choose which ones you want to do today, all right? And if you have a go at one sheet, it's too hard or it's too easy, why don't you choose the middly one, all right? Choose according to what you think. So this task says, which could go in both? So could you go to an after-school club in the morning? Have a think about it. Could you have a shower in the morning and in the afternoon? Could you eat breakfast in the morning? Could you eat it in the afternoon? Remember, breakfast means you've broken your fast of the night before, okay? So I'm not saying when could you eat cereal, because that's a bit different. I mean, when could you actually eat your breakfast, which comes after your waking up time? When could you walk home from school? Have a think about that one. When could you brush your teeth? And when could you walk to school? So you're going to have a go at that one. And then this one is for you to do now with me. So just have a look at this one. Pause the video and have a go on your own, and then come back to me. How did you get on then? Did you manage to put all those words in the right gap? Did you work it out from the clues? Did you work out, well, AM is kind of during the night and in the morning, and then PM is afternoon and the evening. Did you work it out? So Belle got up at 6. Could she get up at 6 o'clock at night, or would you presume that was 6 o'clock in the morning? What did you think? She cycled to school at 7:55. Now, would that be AM or PM? So would you go to school normally in the morning, AM, or would you go normally in the evening or the afternoon at PM? Okay, I wonder how you got on with that. Let's move on. You've got a task to do like that now. Your task 2. You have to fit the words into those gaps. Okay, this is quite an interesting one because this says which lessons are in the morning and which are in the afternoon. And you have to write them in digital time using AM and PM. So you have to say, could you have maths at 10:15 PM? Could you have it in the evening, or could it only be in the morning? Have a think about it. Remember, AM is morning and PM is afternoon or evening. I want you to have a go at looking at that one now and writing down your ideas. Pause me and then come back to me. Okay, well done. Let's have a look at the answers then. So now that you've come back to me, I want you to check your answers that you have just written down using these ones that I have got here, okay? Now, this says, order these activities from the earliest to the latest. I think this one's a bit of a one for a discussion, actually, because there's lots of AM times there. But remember, some of those AM times could be really, really late. And have a think about it, because how do we really order those times? And what if those drinks were at 3:55 PM? Where would you put those? Okay. Now come back to me. These are the answers. How did you get on with that? Okay. So to order the times, you need to first sort your AM times and then your afternoon times and evening times, your PM times. You could sort by the hour and then by the minutes. This is a task to go in your books. You have to try the earliest to the latest, okay? Now, I want you to have a think about this. Why is there sometimes more than one answer? And you have to complete the missing information here. So you've got an analog clock that you can see here. You've got a written time, 9:45 in the morning, and then you've got a digital time, but it's got AM on it, which we don't always need for digital, do we? So you have to see if you can fill in those other spaces. Have a go at that now, just on a piece of paper. When you've finished it, come back to me. Okay, I'm hoping that you got on all right with that task. That was quite tricky. How did you get on? Check it with the answers and have a think about any mistakes that you might have made and see if you can edit them. Okay, task 4. This is a similar task to the one I just showed you there. So these are the times, and this one says 6 o'clock in the morning. So you're going to have to try and make this one an analog time of 6 o'clock, and then you're going to have to write it as digital AM and digital PM. I'll help you there. Have a think about it. 6 o'clock in the morning is going to be 6:00, but with the dot in the middle, of course. And then we've got our 18 hours for our 6 o'clock. That's a big hint. Okay. Oh no, he's been watching the PowerPoint then, won't I? So in 3 hours, the time will be 2 PM. What time is it now? So you're going to have to count back 3 hours. And 5 hours ago, it was 9 AM. So what time is it now? So you're going to have to count on for that one. And this is a similar task, okay? And then your task 6, you're doing some matching. And your task 7 is a little bit trickier. Have a go, children. If you need me, remember, you can get your parent to email us on the Year 4 page, but I will be teaching to, over the next few days here. Okay, I hope your lessons go really, really well this week. And thank you for listening to me so much. It's going to be really fun to see you on Monday. And now I've got to work out how I stop my recording. Okay, well done, everybody.